Hello friends. So our today's question for the day is merge nodes in between zeros. Okay, so what is basically given in this question is we are given the head of the linked list which contain a series of integers separated by zeros. The beginning and the end of the linked list will have node value as 0. Okay, so we are given a linked list, okay, which contain starting and end node value as 0. Okay, and the series of integer which is in between is are separated by 0. Like this is the series of integer which is separated by this 0, and these are the series of integer which are separated by these zeros. Okay, so in between we will have the series of integer which will be separated by zeros. Okay, and starting and ending node value is 0. Okay, so what we have to do, for every two consecutive zeros, merge all the nodes lying in between them into a single node whose value is sum of the merged node. Okay, so what basically they are saying that between two zeros like this 0 and this 0, whatever the elements we are having, whatever the elements we are having, we have to merge these elements and we have to make a common, like these two element will merge, to form a new value, a single node whose value will be sum of the value of these two, so it will be 4. In the same way, these three will be merged in a single node whose value will be 11. Okay, so this they are saying. And one more thing they are saying is the modified list should not contain any zero. Okay, so like if we go through, so our final list should be 4, then 11. We don't have to add any zeros. Okay, and we okay, this is the modified list should not, so the list we are will be forming should not contain any zero. Okay, return the head of the modified linked list. Okay, so we have to return the head of this. So basically what is given, we are given a linked list whose starting and last element is r0, and there are some series of integer which are separated by 0. So what we have to do is we have to those series of integer we have to sum up and make a new node whose value will be the sum of all the integers separated by zeros, and we have to return the head of that newly formed linked list. Okay, so what are constraints which are given to us, like these are the values. A node value will be in the range of 0 to 1000, and it can contain these many elements. Okay, so these 2 points are to be highlighted. There are no two consecutive nodes with node value as 0. Okay, so we will never have this scenario where one node is having value 0 and another node, the consecutive node, will also have value as 0. So we will never have this scenario. And the second constraint is the beginning and the end of the linked list will have. Okay, so every time in each scenario, in each edge case, beginning and the end of this linked list will contain the value as 0. Okay, so these two constraints are given to us. So now I think we have pretty well understood the question what we need to do here. Now we need to look for the solution approach. Okay, so for solution approach, what we can do is, like if we are there is a easy approach where we can use extra space. Okay, extra space we can use, but if we try to solve within this space only, or if we are not allowed to use any extra space, then how we will solve this problem? Okay, so for that reason, like okay, first of all, we know one thing, like we have to sum all elements between zeros. First thing we know. Then second thing, we have to remove all zeros. Okay, so these two things we know, we have clarity in our mind that these two things we have to do. So what we can do, like okay, so if we are moving forward, like so what we can do is, like okay, we can start from here. Okay, we can start from here and we can sum, we can have a variable, let's say integer variable sum, and we can add all the values whose value current sum until we don't encounter another zero. Okay, so until this pointer we don't this pointer does not encounter any other zero, like this pointer does not come up till here, we will add these value in our sum. Okay, and whenever we will add we will encounter a zero, then we can do modification in this linked list only. Okay, and we can remove these two elements and add a new one. whose value will be equals to sum. In the same way we will again start from here and until we find another 0. Okay, so what we will do, we will sum all these elements and keep the value in some variable, and when we will find the current value as sum, what we will do, we will remove these elements and form one node whose value will be equals to sum, whose value will be equals to sum, and we will append this to this, like previous node which we have formed, we will append that to this and to the end next one. Okay, so basically what approach we are trying to use here is like we will use these zero which are given to us as a flag variable. Okay, so whenever we will encounter a zero, whenever we are encountering a zero, what we will do, we will manipulate the linked list to do the changes, to do the required changes. Okay, so like, okay, so we are here, let at some point we have a pointer who has encountered this zero. Okay, who has encountered, and the current pointer is here, so like we need to form a link from the previous one. Okay, to link with this current node. Okay, like we should have something which will get linked to this. Okay, like this, let's say this is a scenario, like okay, we have found one node here. Okay, and now our current link list look like this: 0, then 4, 5, 2, then 0. Okay, so current linked list look like this, current pointer is 0. But now whatever the node which we will find by adding all these and removing these 0, so we should link that to this node na. The new node which we will form should have a link is to the previous one, so we should have two pointers, like one is one we can say is current, and one we can say previous. So what current will do, current will indicate where we are currently, like we are here, we are currently. Okay, and previous, which what it will include, it will include the previously modified value which we have done, so it will have the pointer of that one. Okay, so let's dry run this, let's visualize it using two pointers, and then we will implement it through using code. Okay, so let's say I have a pointer, I have a current pointer here. Okay, and I have previous pointer here. Okay, this is my current pointer and this is my previous pointer. Okay, so now what I will do, I like, okay, until I have said like current pointer value is not equals to null, current is not equals to null. Okay, I will run this loop while let's write in a proper way. Okay, so like while, okay, we will code it later on. Okay, so okay, while current value is not equals to null, what we will do, we will increment the value of current. Okay, okay, now what we will do, we will have a variable called sum where we will store the sum of the non-zero elements. And what we will do, inside while, we will check if, okay, if current value is equals to 0, if current value is equals to 0, like whatever the node which is pointed by current, its value is 0, then what we have to do, we have to manipulate this string, we have to manipulate this linked list, and we have to do modification. Okay, so what we will do, currently this value is not 0, so what we will do, we will add sum 3 to this sum. Now current pointer will be incremented, so current will be pointing to this one. Okay, so now its value is not 0, so one will be added to this sum, so it will become 4. Okay, now current value will again increment. Okay, so current will be pointing to this 0. Now we have encountered a 0, so what we have to do here, we have to, like, okay, so what we can do is, instead of adding a new node, what we can do, we can update the value of the node which is pointed by previous next. Okay, we can update the value which is pointed by previous ka next, we can update its value, and then to this we can link to this one. Okay, because every time we have to start from, okay, we have to remove the 0. Okay, go step by step. Okay, so what we have encountered a 0. Okay, now we have the sum. What we have to do, we have to merge these two into one, and we have to remove the 0. Okay, so the same we will do, what we will do, okay, like previous, I will put this value in previous next, so this value will become 4. Okay, this value become 4. Previous k I have put value of this sum in previous next. Okay, so this value become 4. Now what I will do, I have to connect this with the this new one. Okay, I have to connect this with the new one, because okay, we will not consider this 0 for now. Okay, so what we will do, we will after putting the value, we will make sum as again 0. We will make sum as 0. Now what we will do, we have to map this node to this one. So what we can say is, this is previous next, and previous next value should have the current next value. Okay, this is only now this is previous next and next, like this pointer should be pointing instead of this to current next value. Current is here, we have to point it here because we have to remove this 0. So the same thing we will do, we will map. What we will do, we will, oh sorry, okay, so what we will do, we will map instead of this, sorry, instead of this, what we will do, we will map this to current next value. Okay, so this we have mapped to this. Okay, so now what our linked list is, 0, 4, then 4, 5, 2 and 0. Okay, now this we have done. Now what we have now, this is the new previous, so we will increment, we will move this pointer to next one. Okay, so it will be pointing now to this, because whenever we will find a new we will encounter another 0, then we have to, and we will merge those cell, like in this case we will merge these cell. Okay, and so that we have to link with the previous one, so we have updated the previous pointer also. Okay, so this is the case. Now let's go, now current then sum becomes 0. Okay, then now current value will be shifted. Okay, so current will be shifted to next 4. Okay, so now we are having current value as 4. So current value is not equals to 0, so what, again sum will start from 0, so 4 will be there. Okay, now current value is not equals to 0. Okay, current value again shifted, and current value is not equals to 0, and current value is not equals to 0. So these sums will be added into this, so 5 plus 4 9 and 11. So sum will have 11 value. Now in the next station, when current value will move to 0, okay, current is here, now we have encountered another 0. So what we will do, again what we will do, we will first of all, previous next value we will make as 11. So previous next is pointing to this node, and its value we will make 11, so it will become 11. Okay, it becomes 11. Now what we do, we will make sum as 0, because we have already updated the value of this sum. Okay, now again, so we have to we have to update the previous, this next pointer, like where it will point to now. So what we will do, we will previous ka next, so this will be pointing to the, its next will be equals to current dot next. So current next is null, so this will be pointing to null. Okay, and now what happens, now previous will be moved to its next stage, so previous will move to its next. If we would have again like another string, so like this would have pointed to this one. Okay, but we are ending here, so we have its value already becomes null. Okay, now again current will move, now current is here, current will move to current dot next, so current also become nulls. Okay, so what termination condition we can use for our main loop is, until or unless current value is not equals to null, we will iterate or we will loop through. Okay, so and now, so our final linked list becomes 0, 4, 11 and then null. Okay, so they have told that we have to remove all the zero, so this, but we are having this 0. So what we will return, we will return head, because head is pointing to this, so we will return head dot next, so it will start from here, so we will return this, the address of this node. Okay, so now let's quickly implement this. Let's say list node, list node current current is equals to head ka next, then list node star previous is equals to head. Okay, now int sum is equals to 0. Now we have understood the termination loop when we have to terminate our main loop while until current is not equals to null pointer. Okay, so what we will do now, if first we will check if current value is equals to 0. If current value becomes 0, then what we have done, we have first of all we have updated the previous next value to sum. Okay, previous previous next, like whatever the pointer it is pointing next, its value will update to sum. Okay, then what we have done, we have reset the value of sum. Then we have what we have done, we have we have pointed, like, okay, this we have done, we have updated the value of this previous. Now we have to update this pointer. Okay, so the same we will do. So previous next is equals to current next. Okay, so what we have done, previous next key next value, this is updated to current dot next. Okay, current dot next. Okay, so it has been updated. Then what we have to do, we have to move the previous pointer. Okay, like this previous next, this was the previous. Okay, previous next next was updated to current dot next, so this has been updated to this pointer. Now we have to move the previous also. We this, so the same thing we will do. Previous previous is equals to previous ka next. Okay, so we have updated our previous. Now previous is properly aligned. Now what we will do, we will first of all, now if it is sum is not equals to 0, then we have to add the current node value to sum. Plus is equals to current key value. Okay, then we have to move current pointer. current is equals to current ka next. Okay, now as we have already seen, like what after this loop terminates, what we will have, we will have 0, 4 and 11, but we have to remove this 0 also. So what we will return, we will return head dot next. Okay, now let's run this. uh, so let's run this. It is accepted successfully. Now let's submit and try. So it is submitted successfully with 95% beat in time complexity and 96 in space complexity. So okay, so the as we are not using any extra space, we are just modifying the original one, so its space complexity will be constant capital O of 1 and its time complexity will be capital O of n, as we are traversing the whole linked list one time. Okay, so thank you for watching.